Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, for today's video, we're going to be going on Microsoft Flight Simulator again, and I'm going to be showing you guys, as promised, how to take any aircraft in this game into outer space. So, we're going to start off by showing you guys how to do it with the Boeing 747, and we're going to be using Philadelphia International Airport as our launch pad, quote unquote. So, all you got to do is just, you will need a keyboard for this. Whether you're on PC or Xbox, you will need a keyboard plugged in. And once it's plugged in, all you need to do is just press the Y button on the keyboard, like the Y key. Not the Y button on the controller, but the Y key. This will activate something called Slew Mode. Once you're in Slew Mode, you can use your controller from this point, if you're on an Xbox, and using the right trigger on your controller, for example, just hold it down and your plane will lift up. And of course, if you use like the left stick and stuff like that, or right stick, you can change the position and angle of your plane. So that is what Slew Mode does for a flight simulator. And if you keep holding it, the plane will rise up faster and faster until you eventually go to outer space. Now, there's one little disclaimer / warning for this before we get too far into the video, and it's that, like I said last video about this, if you own your own 747, do not try to take it into space. And if you do take it into space, certainly do not try to re-enter the atmosphere with your 747. I don't want to see any headlines on the news about people taking their own personal 747s into space and trying to re-enter. Alright? So, be warned. Anyways, back to the main video. The max altitude you can go to is 275,000 feet, which, according to NASA, does count as space, and is a little bit higher than what Sir Richard Branson recently did on his flight on Virgin Galactic. But it's not where the Kármán line is, so it's a little bit below that, which is what the rest of the world considers as outer space. But anyways, let's do one quick orbit around the planet in a 747. Again, don't try this at home with your own 747 if you have one. Anyways, so yeah, it's a, even though Microsoft Flight Simulator is it's a flight simulator, it actually works pretty well as a space simulator. Space as in like orbit around the Earth. It's actually kind of beautiful, like playing the game this way, just flying around the whole planet from space and seeing like the sun on the horizon and the stars in space. So that's actually kind of a fun thing you can do. Now, once you press Y again, you will exit out of Slew Mode, and if you didn't have much speed on your 747, then you will very quickly just start re-entering the atmosphere, and you will actually just plummet sometimes if you have like no speed at all. So that is how re-entry works in this game, as you saw in my previous video. And you actually go really fast during re-entry. And another cool thing you do is Slew Mode does save your speed. So if you let your 747 like gain a lot of speed, like Mach 3.5 or Mach 4, and you go back to Slew Mode and you take it back into space again, and then you let it out of Slew Mode like we just did here, then you can see that you actually maintain your speed, and it's actually more realistic this way when you're in orbit, so to speak. And with this much speed, you can actually probably complete a pretty reasonable suborbital flight in your 747. So that's a really cool thing you actually do, and it does kind of make this like a space flight simulator now as well, sort of. Now, like I said, this works with any plane, so I'm gonna go back to Philadelphia International Airport again, and this time we're gonna try this small propeller plane here. So same thing, just press Y on your keyboard to enter Slew Mode, and then use the corresponding keys on the keyboard or the right trigger on your controller to lift your plane up into space. And the max altitude is the same no matter what plane you use. Now, with propeller planes, once you're in space, your engines immediately shut off, and you have like absolutely no control or stability of your plane, and it's just kind of like, it will fall back down to Earth eventually, but it will kind of like, it'll be like an uncontrolled re-entry in a plane like this. And it'll take a while to re-enter the atmosphere too. But yeah, so there you guys have it. That is how you can take any aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator into space on both PC and Xbox. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and found it to be interesting and helpful. If you did, then as always, make sure to leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments, anything else you want me to check out or look into in Flight Simulator or any other game, just let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!